Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our next episode of Facebook Live Events by Skive. Today, our topic is artificial intelligence and its impact on social and economic conditions of people, where AI is applied. And we'll be answering questions from our audience. So, let me first see if we have any questions so far. So far, we don't have any questions. So let me describe some of the aspects we want to think about when we're talking about social and economic conditions that's accelerated by artificial intelligence. First of all, is general perception of artificial intelligence around the world. This is one social impact that artificial intelligence, or in the past, going back to 50 years or even 100 years, artificial machines on robots have on the society. They didn't exist, but they were, but some of the norms that time and the way the societies were organized have got us to where we are today. So, for example, Japan has right now one of the countries where robots or artificial intelligence, where you get machines to make decisions, is a norm. Japan is not afraid of robots, and part of the reason being that Japan has always been a country where they were not enslaved 100 years back or 50 years back. That's not the case, for example, in North America, where some of the countries, like even the US, were slaves in the past. And that's why when we talk about robots making decisions for us, or using robots which may have super intelligence capability, we get afraid. Then the other aspects, like a threat of artificial intelligence. Can we trust artificial intelligence? Will AI take the freedom from us? Will AI take jobs from us? And lastly, which is also very common, is AI when it relates to discrimination. Okay, with that, I believe we have the first question. Let me see what this question is. AI and social media, how do you think it will and is affecting the mental health of its users? An excellent question, and at the right time. We all saw the riots and domestic terrorism that happened last week at the US Capitol. It was horrific. And the way this has come into picture has been due to social media. We are all sitting at home doing nothing, at least a lot of us who are unemployed. We cannot go out. We need some way to connect with people. We need to build that group or the society, because we are both sitting at home. Some are getting paid through unemployment, some are actually not. And that's where social media comes into picture, that on one side it actually helps to get us to the society, to help maintain those connections, but at the same time connections could actually backfire as well, which is what happened last week, where social media like Parler or Facebook and many more were used to get these rioters, and I actually call them domestic terrorists, together. This is one extreme situation, but it's across the board where social media has a big effect on us. It affects us mentally when you see photos that are recommended by the artificial intelligence on portals like Facebook. It does have a mental effect that, oh, why are people having so much fun while I'm not the one who am having so much fun? What we don't realize is that these posts and feed is generated by artificial intelligence recommender system. It's not manually curated. It may not be what you want, but that's what will make the best impact from one perspective when it comes to that recommender algorithm that's optimized probably based on number of clicks or how a specific merchant could monetize that. And rightly said, a lot of the corporates and lots of thought leaders, including me, do want to point this out that social media is to some extent like cancer. So we need to be very careful, and it has affected the mental health because it makes you feel bad. Why is everyone having fun when I'm not? When the real situation would be that nobody is actually having fun. We are in the middle of the pandemic, at least here in the US. There's some other country which are doing very well. We should learn from that. But at the same time, if somebody posts a photo, think about it, think twice. Is that photo from today or from the past? Just because recommended by artificial intelligence embedded in our Facebook feed doesn't mean that's really happening. Okay, let's see what's the next question. Next question is, what can we do to improve the situation when users are already in the loop of social media addiction? The hard answer is, and the simple answer as well, don't use it. Take a break from social media now and then. And the best way, if you ask me to do that, is not using social media through your mobile device, which is your cell phone. So uninstalling your social media app is the way to go as well. Or if you are using Facebook, for example, I do use Facebook quite a lot, but most of the time it's not really to go through the news feed. I'm using it to get in touch with my friends and colleagues. So Facebook Messenger is a great tool, and it's also probably one of the secure ones, just like Signal, for example. I will highly recommend just use the Facebook Messenger app. You don't have to use Facebook app. That's one way really to untune and go away from social media. Another way would be to just take a break on a daily basis. So just say that the weekends should be social media free. I will not use social media, no matter what. One of the things I've been trying to do, even in my case, is disabling notifications that you get on your cell phone. Another thing you could do is really focus on trying to make those real connections. Instead of just messaging your friend on Facebook or on LinkedIn, call them on their cell phone. Or have a video call on Zoom or Google Hangout. That will help you as a person to get in touch with them, and it will be much more interesting talk as well. Yes, there are limitations because we are in the middle of a pandemic that you probably cannot meet them in person. But a lot of the states here in the US, as well as in other countries, you can go for a walk with a friend or a colleague, or you could go for a hike outside. Those are a great way to untune yourself or get out of that social media loop. And part of the reason why social media is addictive because it is by design. That is how the news feed, the various features in a social media platform are tuned. Think about this way. Facebook needs to make money. Facebook and both Google and Facebook, majority of their revenue, close to 80 to 90%, is from advertising. How can they make money out of advertising? They need to get their ads somewhere so that people can look at it. Where can they put those ads? That's actually decided by a recommender system, and most of the time it's an artificial intelligence recommender system that will put these ads between the news feed. And that's what makes things addictive, because it's a closed loop where if you click on something, or if you look at a photo, or if you look at something interesting, that is monitored and managed and analyzed, and that's how they will say, okay, you are looking at the specific post that relates to a holiday destination in Hawaii, so let me get you more information about that. And it becomes an endless loop. And to get out of the loop, it's simple. Just to summarize how you can do it: A, don't use the full app. Use only the features of the app that's most relevant. B, limit your use of your cell phone, because cell phone is something that's there with you all the time. And C, have days where you are not really using your cell phone. It's hard to not use your laptop these days because you are working using your laptop. So that's a hard thing to do. But the bottom line is to be very systematic about doing it. And lastly, have those real connections with your friends and families, as opposed to just messaging your friend. Even through SMS, I would recommend just call them. And that's one of the best things you will actually do, because they will also not think that you will actually be calling them, or you will actually have a Facebook video call with them. Try it today, and you will see how helpful it is, not just for yourself, but on the other side as well. They will love to get a video call from you when they never thought they will actually get one. So just to summarize what we actually covered, we specifically covered about the social economic impact of social media that's powered by artificial intelligence. And we really want to go above social media, get out of this mode of the pandemic. And the best way and the safe way to do that is to make real connections. You don't have to physically connect. You could use just a call to do that. Let me see if we have any more questions. Okay, one last question, which is a beneficiality is a big or a huge positive impact AI can make for us. How do we ensure all are being benefit equally? Who are one of who are the ones to control which community is to be benefited? This relates to transparency of AI algorithms. AI, without doubt, has helped to level the playing grounds in a lot of cases, whether it be doing shopping online, or whether it be connecting people using social media in itself, or whether it be helping people who are not great at driving to drive. Autonomous cars is a great example. Keeping us aware of the news. All those are great examples where AI has helped. AI is also being used in hospitals and with doctors to help them diagnose better. We are definitely benefiting from all these use cases. But at the same time, there's an issue on, first of all, when and how AI is being used. And in some of these cases, it may not be possible to figure out what is exactly the algorithm. And in some of the cases, there are issues of bias in some of these artificial intelligence algorithms. Facial recognition algorithms are a great example where we know that these are based on AI, more specifically deep learning. And in some of these deep learning systems, you need a lot of data to train. And if you don't have the right set of data, these algorithms become biased. A great example was the in the UK, the South Wales police was using facial recognition to figure out if there is somebody wrong in a crowd in a stadium, and They scrapped that idea of using it because it was not clear whether bias could be very concretely described, and the deployer of the algorithm could very easily say that the system is not biased. Credit cards or financial system is another great example where bias has been there and that has affected and impacted people, especially the ones who are not well off. This has continued to be the case where some people have benefited and some people are not. And I think that's an open discussion. And as we go along, what we are realizing is we need to have better artificial intelligence systems. We also need to have better regulations around these artificial intelligence systems. And that's something me and my team here at Skive are working on, where we're coming up with a light-edge framework to give more transparency and more explainability to some of these algorithms. And if you want to know more, please feel to get in touch with us. We are on Facebook. We are also on LinkedIn. And I believe these are all the questions for today. I will end by saying that AI is something that has been around for a while, even if we have not paid attention, and its use in a society will increase. We should not be afraid of it. Overall, it has helped and it will continue to help. But at the same time, we need to be careful and we need to be educated in how these systems work. And yes, we are hiring at Skive. So if you love to work on technologies like artificial intelligence, robotics, healthcare, and aerospace, please feel